Welcome to Bits and Pieces Quilting. Today I want to answer the question, what do I do with a panel? So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Michelle, and today I want to make the first of probably a couple of videos to help figure out what to do with a panel. Now in this case, the panel is something a little special. I'm not normally a panel person, but at my Quilt Guild, the community projects team has gathered up a bunch of panels. They've put some coordinating fabric with them, and then they've sent them out to the guild as a challenge. And as part of the challenge, they've been so smart. I'm really impressed. For a base of the challenge, or for the first step, if you just want to put borders onto the panel and call it done, they will appreciate that and you'll get one entry into the prize draw. But if you do something a little special, if you cut up some fabric, if you piece a few things, then you get multiple entries into the prize draw. So the challenge is for you to make the most of the panel and do something really creative with it, which I think is just a really clever way to get some great community projects made and also to challenge the creativity of a group of fabulous quilters. So I have a panel to work with, and I have the fabrics, and I have an idea. So let's dive in and I'll show you what I've got planned. This is the bag that I picked up at my Quilt Guild from the community projects table, and it is their panel challenge. And I think this is brilliant because you make it a little bit of a contest, a little bit of a competition with prizes and a due date, and suddenly things get finished. So I could see this panel on the front, and then it sort of wraps around to the back with a couple of coordinating fabrics. So this is not about prizes, let's be honest here. For me, this isn't about prizes. This is about making something interesting out of this panel because I've got lots of panels. So this might be the first of a series of videos on how to use your panels. Sue has recently given me a whole ton of panels, mainly with kids' themes, and asked me to make some projects for her with those. So we'll come back and explore other options for panels. So I was looking, let's look at this. And I've got, first of all, a label here. And then let me open this out and see what we've got. So this is the panel. And yes, as expected, it's a series of individual squares, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So there's 15. 15 is a bit of a weird number. I can easily see myself using 12. Not really sure. The 16 makes sense, right? 12 is 3 by 4. 16 would be 4 by 4. 3 by 5. I'll do the math and see what that looks like. There's 15 here. And then they've provided 1.25 meters of the red, 2 meters of the green, and 2.2 meters of the beige. So one of the things I've been thinking about before I opened this, because honestly I haven't opened it until today, but I could see through the clear plastic bag what I was dealing with. Mom and I were talking about panels the other day when I was visiting over Easter, and she has been watching some of the Fabric Cafe videos recently. Have you seen these? The Fabric Cafe ladies have some really great ideas with their 3-yard quilts, but they also do a lot of panel quilts. But Mom and I saw Town Square, and I'll bet Town Square is going to look really cool for these little squares. But that's going to require some math because the Fabric Cafe version uses a 9-inch square, and I'm not sure what I'm dealing with here. What am I dealing with? I'm dealing with, depending on how I trim it, 7, maybe 8. 8-inch probably makes the most sense. So it's going to need some math to figure out a way to resize the Town Square pattern. But that's really interesting with the volume, with the amount of fabric that I have here. So I think I'm gonna go off and do some math, cut these apart, figure out what makes sense to cut them apart. If that's sort of an inch and a quarter in between, that means about, what does that mean? That means maybe half an inch on each side of these. So yeah, I'm gonna figure all of this out, and then I'm gonna come back and talk through kind of my process and help you use your panels. I think I'm gonna end up with blocks that are 8 1/4 if I'm looking at this right. So that's gonna require a little bit of creative math, but we wanna make the very most of the fabric that we have and then make something beautiful out of it. A plan has been hatched. I decided to take out this blue completely because I have the red, the green, and the beige as my alternate fabric. So I didn't want to leave a blue border. I thought that was just adding another color that I just didn't want to get into. So in measuring my blocks, I went from about 8 or 8 1/2, whatever I was thinking before, to a 7-inch block. That way I cut the blue out entirely. So then I started the design process on paper because I knew I wanted to have a town square kind of effect. And I was trying to kind of maximize the fabrics that I have, get the biggest quilt that I can get out of the pieces that I've been given, but then also have it sort of aesthetically balanced. So I started by hand, and then I went to my design software. I use Quilt, which I really like. It's a great program. So a shout out to Laura and Tagar, the creators of Quilt. This is not sponsored at all. I just really like it. And I started with the visualization. And so my first image, which I'll put here, shows the red and the white, the red and the cream as the squares behind the panel pieces, and then the green as an accent border. And I didn't think there was enough contrast, and I consulted with Jason, as I often do, and we decided there wasn't enough contrast between the cream and the background of the panel pieces. So then the next design idea put the red and the green together. And as much as it's a little bit Christmassy, this is the fabric I've been given to work with. So I think it's going to work out all right. And I liked that better. But it doesn't use, the size is a little different. That was 55, I think it's 55 1/2 by 68 1/2. And that gives me 7-inch. The red and the green squares are about the same size as the panel pieces. But then I wondered, could I make it bigger and use up more of the fabric that I have here? Because Quilt now has fabric calculations. And I was able to note how many inches of fabric. I know I've got meters here and I calculate in inches. We just sort of go back and forth here in Canada. Given the amount of inches that the Quilt calculator was giving me, I realized I could go a little bit bigger. And so reshaped the math, reshaped the design so that my red and my green squares are actually bigger. And I'm hoping that that gives these panel squares a little bit of drama, kind of sitting on top of the red and the green as a background to make them stand out a little bit more. And so the final design is going to be 61 1/2 by 76 1/2 with a couple of stripy kind of creative borders out the edges. And I think we've got a plan. It's going to use up the vast majority of the fabric. There's going to be a little bit of red and green and beige left, I think, but not that much. And I'm going to use almost all the green, all the red. So the plan is here. I'm going to start by very carefully cutting my panel pieces. And then I will walk you through the steps to make the pieces that are going to surround them in this sort of town square inspired by Fabric Cafe design that we've got. So a couple of surprises. I'm going to start with the blocks. I had started to cut them at 7 inches like we discussed, and these ones in particular were of a huge concern because you can see there's almost no allowance here. There's almost no, and by the time I take a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to cut off these designs. Same with this one. This one wasn't printed straight. Maybe I didn't trim it as perfectly as I could have, but the design's already cut off here. A 1/4 inch seam allowance is going to come right in over top of this design. Same with this, the tops of these little orange flower things, whatever they are, they're all gonna get chopped off. So I started to look a little more closely, and then I decided that I would trim them to 7 1/4. So you can see some of those blue edges here, but that's all gonna disappear in my actual seam allowance. So I'm hoping that that's not going to encroach quite as badly. The blocks weren't square, so in general, I have a little bit of that blue extra from the panel just on one edge, not on all of the edges. So I managed to cut, I think there's 12 of them or 13 of them here at the 7 1/4 size, which means I'm going to need 2 of them from the first ones that I cut. And I'm probably going to use these 2 baskets because I think the encroaching seam allowance is going to be less noticeable. These are 1/4 inch too small, but I think I'm just going to take a really skinny seam allowance on these in order to make them work. And then these 3 are just, well, I might work them into the backing, or maybe they're just going to be rejects from the whole project. So that was my first discovery and my first recovery, but that's necessitated the need to redo all the math. So now I've got some sizes that I'm not so happy about, 3 7/8 by 7 7/8. I just find that 7/8 harder to cut. There's generally not the same kind of line, the same kind of markings on the rulers, but we're gonna make it work. But the next discovery was when I opened the green, the way that it was folded, I had this dark color, and this is what I thought I was dealing with. But then when I opened it up, I realized that it's this ombre fabric. So yeah, that's a bit weird. I definitely don't like it as much, but here we are. We're gonna make the most of it. I think what I'm gonna do is cut my fabric the long way for the first time, I think probably ever. I don't think I've ever done that. So I think I want my borders to be the darkest. So I'm gonna cut those borders off of here first. And then I'll sort of work in this middle area for the center of the quilt. And then the last place I use the green is the binding. So I'll probably use this lighter portion as my binding strips. So that's something I never ever do. I usually build the center of the project first and then cut the border fabrics and then cut the binding. But we're gonna start cutting the border pieces, which is gonna mean a little bit more math. I wanna make sure I have exactly what I need so that I don't run out and then I'm forced to use something that doesn't actually match anymore. So it's a little bit riskier. I'm going to measure this really carefully, figure out exactly what I need for border pieces, and start cutting that from the edge, and then cut my piecing pieces from here in the middle. So some interesting challenges. Those are the solutions I've proposed, and we'll see how it goes now. This is the final quilt block, and let me show you how I've been making them. But I wanted to talk about 2 things first. The first is because of this ombre fabric, I found that I couldn't make strip sets. What I had hoped to do was make a strip set of red and a strip set of green, and then cross cut it in order to get the first pieces, and then a larger strip set for the other pieces. But as I was looking at the ombre green, I realized that if I did that, then a strip set made from this section was going to be darker than a strip set made from this section. And if you can see, I can zoom you in, perhaps. If you can see the seam here, I didn't want this brick of fabric to be darker or lighter than this square of fabric. And so what I ended up having to do was to cut strips off of the ombre green and then cut each piece individually along that same depth of color. So in the end, I'm gonna have some greens that are kind of medium like this, and then I'm gonna have some greens that are slightly darker like this one. And then there's a few that might get just a tiny bit lighter. And then what I'll do when I lay out the quilt blocks is I will scatter those around carefully, maybe starting with the dark at the top or the light at the top and the darker ones at the bottom or something like that, just to make it look a little bit planned. But I really didn't want that contrast. I wanted that seam line in between those pieces to really disappear. So they really needed to be from the same section of the ombre fabric. This block also was one of the shorter ones. It's a 1/4 inch smaller than the others, this little basket. And so if you flip it over, I don't know if you can see, but my seam allowance on the background piece is really short. So I tried to make sure that I could make up that little difference in the seam allowance so that these pieces are ultimately the same size, but there's only about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance all the way around rather than the usual 1/4 inch. So that worked out really well. So to make these blocks, what I've been doing is taking a square of the red and a square of the green and sewing them together, and then attaching those to the block top and bottom. And then I come back with a brick of the green and a brick of the red. I sew those together and then sew those on either side of the block. So they're really quite simple. And as we discussed at the beginning, I decided I wanted to make these pieces, these 4 patches when they go into the quilt, bigger than these, just because of the fabric I have and to get a nice sized quilt. You could make these any size you want, really, so long as the math adds up to the size of your center square. So even though I went to 7 1/4, let's just use 7 inches because it's easier math. If this was 7 inches, then each of these would need to be 3 1/2 inches finished, which means that this would need to be 3 3/4 because you have to add that 1/4 inch to the 3 1/2 inch width in order for those to fit. Now you could have made them, I could have made them square, I could have made them skinnier, I could have made them 2 1/2 inches wide or 3 inches wide or 3 1/4 inches, and I made these 4 1/2. Could have made them any width I wanted, so long as the length equaled the width of my centerpiece. And then you do that same math to calculate the size of these pieces. They're going to be the same width as these ones. And then you add up these pieces. So if this was 3 1/4, if this was 3 1/2, 3 1/2, that's 7. This is 7 for 14. Minus a seam allowance, so 13 1/2, and then you can calculate the size that these pieces need to be, remembering to add the 1/4 inch seam allowance here. So the math isn't that complicated to adjust the sizes to whatever you're looking for these projects. So I have just a few more blocks to make. I'm just going to sew these edges on, finish my other pieces, and then I'll be able to start to assemble the quilt top. 3 blocks by 4, and then the borders on them. So this is the final quilt, but a funny thing happened during layout. I didn't like it, and I realized that it really needed the sashing strips to break up the green and the red. It was just way too much, which ended up making the quilt even bigger, which is a good thing, but I had to shorten the width of the accent stripe because I didn't have enough fabric. I quilted it myself with just an all over free motion quilting, and I put the red binding on it because I really did not like the way that that ombre green got really light. So you can see I've put the lighter ones at the top, and then they slightly get darker as you go down. I don't think until you point it out you actually really notice the dramatic difference, but that was a little bit of a shock to open up that ombre fabric and discover that it wasn't all the color I was expecting. So this is one approach to a panel. I think it looks completely different than what we started with, but I'm really happy with the results. So that's one option to deal with a panel. In this case, the panel had individual pieces that could be cut out and used as blocks across the quilt. I think the design turned out well. I'm really happy with the size of the project because this is very much an adult-sized quilt, and I think I've made a lot of use, a really good use of the fabric that came with it. So I'm happy with the results. But I have a whole pile of other panels that I've been given and asked to make some quilts for the community projects part of our guild. So there's a few challenges in there to figure out how to use these creatively. I'll come up with some ideas and I'll share them with you. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to make the most of your fabric bits and pieces.